Tanu
Yes.
has been a very dear friend of mine, and I miss her. She's in the US now and doing some amazing work. And we decided to go live and chat and trust it's going very well. Um, hmm. Yeah, superb. I can see it's live. You can share it. Mm,
Perfect.
perfect.
So,
Mm,
so
yes.
before we start, ma'am, I was listening to your your videos every morning. This is my ritual. When I wake up, when I go for my morning walks, the only thing which I listen is you and Sadhguru. So I was listening to one of your videos, and that was related to pushing some buttons. I think you uploaded it maybe yesterday or something, and it was amazing. I shared it with a few of my friends in the groups which I have, and somehow I also felt that I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. The
Mm,
triggers we are suppressing, the triggers we are just holding in ourselves, can that be a cause of mental health, like the effect, if they can affect our mental health and emotional health?
yes. Fine. Tanu, as you know, I've practiced as a homeopath for years together, and how diligently we take case history to figure out what's happening to people. First, in their mind. So, disease originates in your thoughts first. And
Mhm.
then we have diseased, diseased emotion, not
Mhm.
disease,
Yeah.
diseased. So when you respond to it in an uneasy way, you're creating ripples of energy disturbances. And those
Mm.
energy disturbances, when not handled very well, can go into your tissue and create disease.
Mm.
Tell me which body part is affected, and I will tell you what could be the possible thought when you acquired this disease, not only just disease. Even I can tell you, if you tell me where did you get injured, I would tell you what thought you were going through, because the body catches that. Body is very
Wow.
sensitive to your thoughts. And the pains that the body goes through is not about creating discomfort for you. It's a body's way of protesting and telling, hello, hello, listen to me. I am hurting you. Better change your way of thinking.
Hmm. That's so true. That's so true. Ma'am, that reminds me of one thing. I met with a major accident where left shoulder blade almost came out, and I went through a lot of physical surgery, not surgery, but somehow therapies. All the physiotherapy was done, but it went wrong, and then my shoulder was almost like a little hitched. It still pains sometimes.
Right.
So I don't want to attract any disease or accident, but it happened.
It did happen. So shoulder blade is about withdrawal. If it is left shoulder blade, somewhere you withdrew from contribution that you're meant to do it.
Okay, so contribution can be in so many ways, right?
In so many ways that you would know at that time what were you saying no to.
Hmm, that makes sense. I was, I have started setting boundaries with certain things that, okay, this is not accepted at all. And I don't
Right.
want to go there.
Yeah. So when we're talking about boundaries, it's very healthy and it's okay to create boundaries when you are still operating from solar plexus chakras. But what
Mhm.
we don't realize is when we set boundaries, we're also confined to those boundaries, isn't it?
Right.
So I would say expand your horizons rather than setting the boundaries. You
Hmm,
know, ocean doesn't have to worry about a drop of a poison.
that's so true. That's so
We
true.
just
But ma'am,
everything.
sometimes don't you think that if somebody is being so pushy or being so bossy or being so nosy, or I'm all talking about the triggers which generally people have, right? So if we expand our horizon rather
Mhm.
than setting boundaries, what steps or what actions do we do in a way where the other person is also taking that signal that, okay, this is uncomfortable for the other person, whatever I'm doing? So how to set boundaries in a way where the other person is getting the signals and we are expanding our horizons?
Ah, actually, our boundaries attract other people to cross them.
Oh, really?
No. Yes. If a thief has to actually enter a house ever, he will
Uh-huh.
see which house has the tightest security. You keep your,
Ooh,
the thief won't even be interested in entering your house.
ये तो सोचा ही नहीं था.
The mosquitoes also will get attracted to the person who hates mosquitoes the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's so true. That's so
yeah.
true.
If you hate a strand of hair in your food, if there has to be one strand of hair somewhere in the food, it's going to be in your food.
Yes, that
Even the
that's
cleanest kitchen, you will have some mess in your food if you don't like it. So what you resist anyway tends to persist, isn't it? And
hmm.
boundaries attract people to do keep doing knock on your walls that you have created. I'm not talking about physical walls. We create energetic walls, and
Hmm.
they love to intrude. Then I was
Wow.
one of I had very, very strong boundaries, and I realized that it's so much energy consuming to keep the boundaries on all the time. And there would be some intruders, some mischief mongers who will keep breaking those boundaries. No, and then I just one fine day I just dropped it. Said, okay, let people do whatever. I'm going to be fine with everyone and everything, and it's okay. Nobody does anything now.
So how did you manage that? Because it's tough. It's difficult.
So the moment you realize that what happens to you is attracted by you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this I realized even long back when I was practicing homeopathy. So there would be a time when I was managing 2 clinics and 3 children, and it was a very hectic day. And one day, if I think, I don't want to see any client or any patient today,
Hmm.
it would be crazy the way I would have cancellations on that day. I would be just limited to hardly one emergency client or perhaps nobody. Think on those days when you don't want to pick up a single phone call and there won't be people calling you.
Yes, yes.
Thoughts have powers. You don't have to set boundaries. Just decide whom, when, where you want to entertain. And only those people will feel like calling or reaching out to you or approaching you.
This is so amazing, man, because whatever
Yeah.
you said just now,
Hmm.
I felt it a lot. Like it has been in my experience for so many times that if I'm not willing, something as I start feeling that my body is telling me or my gut feeling is telling me that, okay, don't do this. And later on, I will understand what was the bigger picture behind that.
We're almost always guided. We don't have to really have so much of stress about uh, creating boundaries. At least personally, I know it's a buzzword in urban areas and Western world and all.
Yes, yes,
There are
very much.
hardly boundaries when it comes to villages in India. And I
Mhm.
remember in my village, if I had to go from my house to the market, I would cross at least 3 houses, and I
Oh,
would through their houses and jump into the market rather than walking a long way. And it was okay because in the villages, there was no culture in those days to
yeah, yeah, right.
the doors used to be open and children would move in and out of the houses. And in fact, we
Wow.
would get to eat some goodies and everything was fine. Nobody felt intruded. That
That's
culture is
nice.
good. Not that I'm saying that we should do that, not that I'm saying we should even allow people. If you really don't want, they won't come. They won't feel
Hmm.
like. Mm.
So, what if, ma'am, after trying a lot, and because there are some kind of people who really want to invade your boundaries at any cost, is that because of some karmic connection? Or it is because of some energetical connection where subconsciously, and we are not aware,
Right.
subconsciously that pattern is getting
So
repeated?
people, places, and possibilities are not your problems. Okay. The problem is your reaction and response to them.
Mhm.
All right. So when people kind of do whatever they do, okay, they do, but how we react bothers us much more than what they do.
Okay, can you explain it a little bit, please?
All right. So say somebody comes and um, keeps talking about things which you hate to listen to.
Okay.
So that conversation doesn't bother you as much as your hatred and your helplessness and your powerlessness and your, kind of choicelessness to listen to that story without against your wishes, and you beat yourself up for allowing this person in your space.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, when you obviously you set boundaries because you perceive some sort of nuisance from others. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, that means you're telling that person directly or indirectly or energetically that I'm vulnerable to you.
Hmm.
Right. And you're more powerful, I'm less powerful.
Ooh.
By blaming others, I've already made myself powerless. And that gives power to people to do what they want against your wishes.
Whew. This is a big one. This will take a little bit of time to process.
Yes. I see this in a lot of so-called urban culture to blame people because of this, because of that, because of this, because of you, because you did this. It doesn't take a minute to blame others. However, what you don't realize is you're actually telling you're more powerful and you have a power over me.
Right. Right. That makes complete sense. That makes
Right.
complete
So
sense.
even I'm not saying that stupidly open up your house and open up your life, let anybody come anytime. Okay, they don't come, I mean, try. um, even even mosquitoes, if they have their preferences, animals have their preferences. They don't. So the humans are more sensitive, I suppose. So even the birds get attracted to certain windows and chirp there. They will
Yes.
always bother you. So
Yes.
see
Yes.
what are you attracting and why are you attracting, first of all, and why would you need to set a boundary that would suffocate you eventually,
Hmm.
isn't it? So just
Yeah.
ask that questions.
That.
And
That.
ultimately, your resistance to persist. So if somebody really wants to see you, talk to you, just finish that conversation. And if you think you're powerful, you can take that conversation to a level which can be a great win-win situation for both of you.
Wow. I think this message is for me.
Yeah, yeah. Why
Seriously.
right, and why
Because,
keep this?
yeah, because today's topic is about mental health and awakening. So,
Mm.
how is it interconnected? Or is it different from each other, and but still it has its own importance?
Tanu, mental health. Okay, let me take you back to Einstein. I am
Hmm.
highly impressed by what he said he did. Not that I understand science so much, but a few sentences have really made a difference. And one thing he said, you can never, never, never solve a problem at the level of consciousness you have created. Okay. So if you truly want to solve any issues related to mind, you need to go to the next level of consciousness to be able to see from the highest consciousness, problem doesn't even appear to be a problem.
Hmm. And
Food
how
for
to be aware?
yes. So okay, I just want you to do this experiment. Take your fingers, a palm, just closer to you.
Okay.
Okay, closer, completely, still closer. Okay.
On my
And now
face.
try and observe the lines of the palms. Can you see that?
No, I can't. It's all
No.
blurred.
Okay. Take it a little away and a little away, furthermore away, and see what happens.
Yeah, I can see that.
Awesome. What did you do? You became a distant observer. When you
Oh.
write in the middle of the story, when you write in the middle of the story, you may not be able to sort it out because you're right there like that cat in the jumbled up pool. You'll mess it
Hmm.
up more. But the same thing, if you see from the point of view of a distant observer, you'll be able to have a better overview of the picture. You mentally suffer because you only think about you and your universe and your world. When you see a larger picture, when you see your past, present, and future, when you know in this moment why things are the way they are and what relevance does it have in the larger picture, you will not respond adversely and that will not disturb your mental health. In retrospect, if you look back, Tanu, you've gone through whatever you've gone through, but a lot of things make sense now. What
Mhm.
if you had an ability in the past to be able to see your current moment with a greater
Right.
awareness? Probably you wouldn't have really suffered, or you wouldn't have gone through the pains that you went through out of unawareness. And it's not just you, all the viewers who are listening. Uh,
Yes.
the way things make sense in retrospect, it doesn't make sense when you're going through, but it
Hmm.
would only make sense if you can look at your life from the higher consciousness point of view, which is which is from the ultimate consciousness, like driving a car with the GPS assistance. Sitting in the car, you know what's going to happen. So when I'm saying awareness and consciousness is that connectivity with the ultimate, which eventually brings about awareness of what's happening in your own space.
Hmm.
And through internet, you can connect to the person driving next to you, in front of you, around you. Also, you know where's going to be a fuel station, or you know where's going to be security available or food available. Everything you can
Right.
come to. And if life can be that easy, why would anybody have mental health challenge? And even if you've had to sort it out, gets much easier with the connection higher up.
That makes so sense because you know what, ma'am? There are so many thoughts right now in my mind, and I'm just listening to you, right? So because I have a, I mean, I'm your student, right? And I have learned so much through you. But what about people who are completely raw, who don't know anything what they are going through, but they are so curious to know what are the baby steps they can take towards their awareness, and then also go ahead to the level of awakening. What would you suggest?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is stop blaming.
Mm.
The major issue is because you blame, and as I said earlier, you just don't blame human beings. You also blame the weather condition or the economy, market, because of this, because of that. You know, it is just all the time the record is because of this. You're indirectly disempowering yourself because you're indirectly telling, okay, others have more power over me, and I'm the poor thing, I'm the vulnerable, I'm the victim. Sure, you're going to be victimized anyway. So stop blaming. When you stop blaming, you look within.
Right.
Rediscover your power of manifestation, how you are the co creator. And once you understand how you are the co creator, and if you know that you co created this helpless situation, powerless situation, irritation, intrusions, you can also create harmony. You can also create win-win situation. You can also create synchronicity. You can create so many things. And
Mhm.
it's all within you. You've tried it, you've experimented, you manifested it periodically, but you just don't know how to do that consistently.
Hmm.
If you keep focusing on yourself and your powers within, rather than getting worried about others' power over you, you will be able to make the best out of your power. And the most powerful are your thoughts.
Wow. So next question comes is when we are becoming aware, And when
Mhm.
we are on the path of awakening,
Uh-huh.
what kind of internal shifts we start feeling, we start seeing?
Okay. So if you look at it from the observer's point of view, the first shift would be the breath.
Hmm.
You find your breath deeper, much more calmer, much more in equilibrium, rhythmic. Your thoughts are minimum and as per the priority and importance and not random. So they don't just keep going on and on and on. You're fairly aware of every thought that's coming to you and passing through you. Your body remains fairly relaxed. You have minimum or no fears. You feel practically secure. Your basic parameters of life, sleep, appetite, um, even sex life is fairly good. You look forward to the day. You look forward to living life fully. You make the best out of life. And you spend more time being proactive rather than being worried about what would happen next.
That's a lot. So anybody who wants to change their life, please, first you have to be aware. First you have to be in synchronization with yourself and your thoughts. And of course, ma'am is there to help if you need any kind of guidance.
So I trust that everybody can help themselves. I can only guide because the real work would be when you help yourself, right? That's when you
Yeah,
empower yourself.
that is so powerful, ma'am, because you still don't want to take any kind of credit. But I feel you have changed so many people's life, including me.
So many people wanted to change life and they've given me credit. Thank you so much.
That was cute. So, ma'am, I want to know. I mean, sorry, go ahead. You were saying something.
No, I like that. I said, thank you. I get the credit for things I never do. So that's also a good manifestation of my mind, I guess.
Beautiful. So, we are talking about manifestation. Like, for some people, it's very easy thing. They will manifest anything, even if it is negative. For example, me, I attracted that accident because I saw somebody who was with plaster and with so much of pain and suffering. And I just looked at him and I was having just one thought, oh my God, how did happen this to him? And by the end of the week, I was in the same position. So, how to be aware about the negative manifestation as well, because somehow that also affects the process of awareness and the awakening steps.
Yeah. But you know why people manifest so-called negative much more than positive? First
Mhm.
of all, there's nothing like negative or positive, right? If this is my right and this is my left, because I'm in between. Okay.
Yeah.
So polarities are determined by the position that you take. If I look at
Mm.
right and left from infinity, it's not going to be right or left. It's going to be almost at the same level, right? So same way, again, the negativity and positivity is a personal assessment.
Mhm.
So if something is negative for you, that means you anticipate some harm or disruption in the process called life through that. Okay. Now, because your subconscious mind is trained to make sure that your life goes easy and smooth, anything that you perceive as disruptive for you or destructive for you or causing death or death-like challenge will
Mm.
be resisted by you. So obviously what you perceive as negative, you're going to keep thinking about it. And if you're going to keep thinking about it, you're going to keep manifesting that.
Wow.
That's
So
it.
can even one little small tiniest thought, if it just comes and goes, now you don't even think about that thing, that can also convert into reality.
If it is if you thought that particular thought in a very vulnerable moment, yes.
Okay, so if the
That
thought
time,
and emotions are connected so deeply.
correct. There are times when our conscious mind, filter mind, subconscious mind, dormant mind, higher consciousness, and super consciousness, they're fully aligned.
Mm.
Okay. That is the time, if you really have a very powerful thought, it manifests like this.
Oh, wow. Now I'm counting whatever I manifested by that one thought.
Yeah. You once you understand that, you master the power of being in total alignment, most of the time, the head and heart has a conflict. Okay.
Mm.
Your head wants something else, heart wants something else. In literal sense, it is a conflict between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Okay. Uh, so the conscious mind has certain concepts and ideas, and subconscious mind has certain concepts and ideas. So whatever conscious mind decides, subconscious mind kind of tucks it out, doesn't cooperate. And when subconscious mind decides something, the conscious mind says, hey, it's meaningless, it's stupid. So ultimately, you feel stuck, and you're stuck because of the internal war. But there are times when conscious mind, subconscious mind, filter mind, even the dormant mind, or I would call it archive mind, they're beautifully aligned in that moment. And you're also in touch with the higher consciousness and supermost consciousness. And then you think it would be like amazing. It would be you think and things happen.
Yes, that is so true. I have felt those things and I have felt those moments beautifully. And that brings another question to my mind, that how, or you can say, what should we practice on daily basis, or at least, quite often, so that we are in alignment with ourselves, our superconscious, and ourself, our subconscious, conscious, everything. Because it's very important for the mind, body, and soul to be aligned. So what practices would you suggest?
Well, the most popular that people know of are the breath work and meditations and yoga, which is pretty known techniques, right? That also helps immediately. I would certainly recommend radical. Um, Begin with some of the statements. So the tips that I would like to give you is minimize emotional charge, not by suppressing, but by recognizing, reviving, recognizing, realigning, reorienting, and repositioning the storage system in the subconscious mind. So, technique wise, there are certain statements, powerful statements that you can say with the proper understanding to clear your mind and keep it absolutely calm, poised, and peaceful, to be able to become a detached observer, not only of your life, but everyone's life. Does that sound very technical, Tanu?
No, ma'am, not at all. In fact, I was going to ask you a little bit about radical, because our viewers, whoever will be listening to us, if they are aware, well and good, wonderful. But if they are not aware about the radical and how magically it works, it will be great to listen from you yourself.
Radical comes from the word radical. Radical is the brand, but it comes from the word radical. So, what is radical? Something fundamental, something transformational, something related to the root cause. The root cause for any trouble in a human life is their thoughts. Every time you have a thought which is unhealthy, you're going to have inappropriate emotions, and that would disrupt the energy flow, create the vibe, which will create the manifestations, which are going to be pretty adverse. Most of the time, we get busy trying to correct everything external. But what we do not realize is behind everything that has happened in your universe, there has been a thought, whether yours, your ancestral, community thought, or community belief. That's what is manifesting together. We just need to trace that thought, challenge that thought, give that thought a right position. I'm not even saying suppress it. Just give that thought the right position, because everything is powerful based on the position that you take. You can also have power if you take certain position, you can become powerless if you do not take certain positions, right? So give even the thought a certain position, appropriate position, through the through the statements, radical statements that are designed statements. And when you do that, you have shift in your emotional responses. And
Mm.
so you have a shift in the energetic patterns and the vibration that you send out to the universe. And that eventually brings about the shift, not only just in your body, but also in various aspects of your life, including money, career, relationships, social life, political life, your understanding, and spiritual growth. So trace your thought. So r- identify the erroneous thought or the positive thought, then identify, modify, and then amplify the appropriate thought. That
Mm.
art is radical.
Yes, I have experienced dissolving the hard emotions, dissolving whatever was bothering me, and then awakening of positive thoughts like happiness, like peace, like contentment, like joy. And I still remember that one session with you when you were live on your YouTube channel. And I just showed up in 2019.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful session. I would like to share my experience here because I was in deep sadness and I was not even aware why was I sad? Why was not I able to feel any feeling, excitement or enthusiasm or any kind of positive feeling? I was so neutral, completely neutral. And I just came online. Ma'am took me by chance and within 15 minutes, I was just smiling and crying at the same time because that was my first experience of feeling joyful, feeling happy. And it was so ecstatic. It was wonderful. It was magical. It was amazing.
You're open if you're in allowance. It doesn't even take 5 to 10 minutes to bounce back to your best.
Wow.
Yeah.
And ma'am, is there also a process, or you can say a way where if someone is willing or wishing to come out of what is bothering them, they start connecting with certain people who can guide them through that thing?
So we offer a step-by-step curriculum in Radical. So step one would be to, it's more like a cleansing process and reorganizing process of your thoughts and emotions, give them the right place. It's like a spring cleaning of what's been happening in the past.
Wow.
And step two, you learn to recognize the right thought process.
Mhm.
Uh, what is appropriate for you as per your life plan, because the thought that is right for you may not be for others. You need to
Mm.
figure out what is appropriate and right thought for you. And we teach you that with 250 multi-chakra knowledge. So that chakras guide you, which is appropriate thought for you. And then third level is to understand the whole journey of soul, right from uh, the pre-birth time till the time you are and what is likely to be. What's a major life plan for you? What is the purpose of your life, and why you went through certain experiences, and what's lined up for you next? So in
Mm.
level, we teach you that. In level 4, we teach you how to apply that to understand yourself through your relationships and influence your relationship by positively influencing your inner core. And in level 5, we help you how to crack the whole game called life through metaphor of money, because money is
Mm.
the Maya. When you understand that, you go beyond the whole story, illusionary games. And in level 6, we teach you how to just be, the art
Mm.
of being, because you can get a lot of things done by being who you are. And you may not even have to do. So you go beyond those polarities, doership, and just start being.
Wow.
That's something that one can only experience. Yeah.
Well, I am fortunate enough to have experienced certain things in your proper guidance, and I feel so fortunate about it. So, ma'am, anything else which you would like to suggest or guide, or any message would you like to give to our viewers?
Know that you're powerful beyond your imagination. And more than powers, you have potentials which are yet unexplored. Turn within, rediscover yourself, and make the best out of this opportunity called life. There's a lot to explore. Keep going.
Ooh, wow, that fills me with so much positivity. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It was
Thank
amazing having you over with beautiful insights and knowledge and so much. I mean, I'm already feeling so much positivity, and your warmth is just getting into me. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. Thank
you.
you so much.
It's a joy. It's a joy talking to you.
Yeah, ma'am. Take care of yourself. And yes, we'll be talking soon again.
Thank you.
Thank you.